My name is Judy Cook, and with me I have my friend Teresa. Today we want to talk about the Science of Getting Rich Club. It's here in Missoula. Some of you have seen The Secret, and that was written and developed by Rhonda Burns from Australia. Rhonda read the book, The Science of Getting Rich, and that's where she got her idea to develop the DVD. And if you've seen that DVD, then you've seen Bob Proctor, Michael Beckworth, and Jack Canfield, because they're all part of that DVD, along with some other really great guys. But those three men put together The Science of Getting Rich, and I've brought that to Missoula. We meet on Monday nights at the Quality Inn, the corner of Reserve and Brooks, at 7 to 8:30. We discuss the science of getting rich, and then we have group discussion. A lot of camaraderie and a lot of fun. So we like each one of you to think about showing up at our club meetings. A while back, I saw The Secret, and what I saw made a lot of sense to me. I had been using a lot of those techniques prior to seeing it and didn't know how it actually worked. Now, knowing how it works, I can focus on it and make it work even more whenever I want to. It's quite amazing. When I was a little girl, there was a pony I wanted, and I really fell in love with this pony, but I knew there wasn't any way I could figure out how to buy it or how to have that pony. But I just couldn't get her out of my mind. You see, she was for sale by a place that also sold feed. My mother had some chickens. We bought chicken feed from them. And I'd see that pony from time to time. Turned out, because I focused so much on that pony, one day she was mine. I was riding her in a field. To this day, I'm not real sure how that all happened, except my focus on that pony. And much of life is like that. We've had things happen that we don't understand how they happened. And the science of getting rich actually explains how it all works. I think that a lot of the techniques have been kept a secret from the general population. It's what keeps 2 or 3% of the population making most of the money. And you know some of the people I'm talking about, and there's nothing wrong with them making that money. There's plenty of it, and there's more to be made. If you make all the money you want, or I make all the money I want, we're not taking any money from anyone else. You see, some of the oldest scriptures that were written, the words are, there was abundance, I took from abundance, and still there was abundance. And if you don't believe it, just go out some starry night and look into the sky, and you'll see that our universe is full of abundance. Things are always been here. It's just up to us to find how do we attract it to ourselves. My friend Teresa here saw The Secret, and Teresa, how did that affect your life?
Well, in January of 2007, we had gotten the DVD of The Secret as a gift from a friend of ours for Christmas. It was kind of a late Christmas gift. And I had been a sales trainer, and so I had taught a lot of the same principles of being positive and you get what you expect and all that kind of stuff. But it struck me in a different way, and I think that you get what you need when you need it. And watching that DVD, I realized that I had, as we all do, we are all kind of trained to think about what we don't want more than what we do want. And I have suffered my whole life with migraine headaches pretty much since I was an adolescent. And there have been periods of time in my life where it was more of an anomaly for me to not have a headache than to have a headache. I just seemed like I always had a headache all the time. And sometimes they'd be bad ones and sometimes they'd be more mild, but it pretty much felt like I had a headache all the time. And I would try a lot of different things. I'd seen lots of different doctors and taken lots of different medications and done all this kind of stuff. But I saw The Secret, and I realized that what I was doing was I was putting out there to the universe, headache, 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 because I kept saying, oh, I hope I don't get a headache. Oh, I hope I don't get a headache. Oh, there's a low pressure system coming and I hope I don't get a headache. Oh, my neck's getting tight. I hope I don't get a headache. So what am I throwing out there but headache, 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 instead of health and wealth and all that kind of stuff. So I started saying, I'm relaxed and comfortable always. And in January of 2007, that just kind of became my mantra that I just kept saying over and over and over again. I'm relaxed and comfortable always. I feel great. I have perfect health and perfect vision and exceptional hearing and blah, 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 all those kinds of things. But I really focused on being relaxed and comfortable as opposed to throwing out there to the universe, headache, headache, headache. So, of course, what happened, which was a very amazing thing for me when you think that, I'm in my 40s and I've had migraines for almost my entire life, that in 2007, I took my migraine medicine maybe 5 or 6 times all year long, as opposed to 5 or 6 times in a week or two. So obviously, there's a huge, huge drastic improvement in my life just from changing the way that I looked at things. And when you change the way that you look at things, and when you look at them from the positive, from what it is that you want, from what it is that you start making your expectation the positive thing instead of the negative thing. And that is just the most definite, concrete example I can give in my life of it working. And that's a huge thing in my life, especially, is to affect your health in such a huge, huge way that I usually get a really, really, really bad headache once or twice a year where I'm sick for 2 or 3 days where I can barely get out of bed and I'm sick to my stomach and I just can't hardly function at all for 2 or 3 days in a row, whereas I function through most of my headaches. But I would usually have those horrible headaches once or twice a year. I haven't had one since before January, sometime in 2006 was the last time I had one, because all of 2007 and this far into 2008, I haven't had one. And that's some pretty amazing, powerful stuff. And so, yes, I'm a big, big, big believer. And it was funny because all through 2007, I'm like, can you believe it's been 5 months and I've only taken my migraine medicine once or twice this year? Can you believe it's been 8 months and I've only taken my migraine pills 3 times this year? All through the year, I just kind of kept track of how many months it had been and how long it had, how many pills I had taken for my migraines. And it was just amazing. It gets me in the gut how strong of a result that was. So that's kind of my experience with it, and I'm a big believer. So definitely.
In the DVD, Jack Canfield talks about one year when he only made $8,000 for the year. Must have been a while back, but still only $8,000. And he had someone, his mentor, who said, Jack, you need to get a goal that when you reach it, you'll know you did it. And you'll know it was because of how you were thinking. So Jack thought, gee, maybe $100,000. I would definitely know that I had reached my goal when I got the $100,000. Well, Jack says that he made that commitment. Nothing happened for months. He finally got out of the bath or the shower one morning and realized he'd written a book, and that if 40,000 people bought that book and he only made 25 cents per book, he'd make his $100,000. So he got the idea of how to do it. Then he had to think of, well, but how do I get 400,000 people to read my book? He realized that, well, if they knew it existed, surely they'd buy it. He saw the Inquirer. He ran into someone by, quote, accident. Well, it wasn't an accident. He attracted that person to him, wrote an article about Jack, and of course they sold lots of books. He said he didn't make $100,000. He made $96,000 and some odd dollars, but he didn't really care.
Yeah.
He only made $8,000 a year before, and so he recognized that what he was striving for had come true. It's amazing when you hear stories. And all those stories are about creating something that wasn't there before. It's not taking away. I know I worked for a big oil company at one time, and they had us believing that everything was a big pie. And if your slice was bigger, someone else's slice was smaller. And sometimes they'll have you believe that, well, if you have a whole bunch, other people have less. And it's like, I don't think so. There's just more and more and more. We haven't even scratched the surface on possibilities, even on food for the hungry. I was in a meeting yesterday where a woman said that if she could wish for anything, it would be the end of malaria. Well, think about that one. We just have to discover it, that's all. The cure for malaria is here. We just haven't found it yet. It's the only problem with that. And if enough people focus on it, we'll find that cure as well. Well, Teresa, I can tell you that years ago, I was involved in the National Real Estate Investors Association. And when I moved to Missoula area, I realized that there wasn't one here. And I really enjoyed belonging to those small groups of real estate investors. But I just really was selfish. I didn't want to spend the energy to start a group because it takes a lot of energy to do that. But I still did attend the national conferences, and there was one in Vegas this past summer. I confess to the whole world that I don't always read the newsletters, but that day on the plane, I opened the newsletter up, and the word Missoula jumped off of one of the pages. I looked again to see that there was a group in Missoula started. Well, when I got to Vegas, I was eager to find out who this group was and who their leader was, and it turned out that it was a girl who was just by herself, and she wanted to go to the conference. So I told her, well, guess what? You have at least 4 more members that you didn't count on because I know who they are. We met and decided to start up a little real estate group of investors in Missoula when someone else, her name was Judy Wright, said, your meeting, I know about it. It's Monday or Tuesday night. And we said, well, how could you know when our meeting is? Oh, we don't have a date yet. So, of course, we had to go on Tuesday night. We met you, and you were already starting up a real estate investment club here in Missoula. Now, how cool is that?
Yeah, that was another one of those, just put the energy out there and see what happens, because we had been, you know, we would meet other real estate investors here in town and sit down and have coffee with them here or there or whatever, but we just kept looking for a local group, a local real estate investing club that might, that we could get connected up with or whatever. And of course there wasn't one here, and the closest one that I could find any mention of anywhere was in Billings, and you know, of course that's far enough away to not be an easy drive or anything. So finally, you know, one of our friends, we were sitting there having coffee, the 4 of us, Rhonda and I and Rebecca and Todd, these other friends of ours, we got together and we were, you know, because we met every once in a while for coffee, and they were real estate investors also, and they said, you know, we were talking about how there wasn't any club, and finally we're just like, let's just start one and see what happens. And so we put, you know, ads out and online and, you know, different bulletin boards around town and everything. And it was just going to be a casual get together with other real estate investors kind of a concept and stuff. And we had our first meeting. We had no idea who would show up, if it would just be the 4 of us that initially planned on being there and doing this. And we thought, well, if that's all it is, then that's all it is. That's fine. Well, of course, our first meeting, we ended up having 11 people there. Our second meeting, we had 20 people there, and you were there. And of course, that was how it was funny, because you and Athena started it from a formal, set it up with an actual application to the National Real Estate Investors Association, and we started up with a casual just get together without all the formality stuff, and between us we all got together and created a Real Estate Investors Association that's now been in existence since August, and we're moving into the place of it becoming a lot more formal with the becoming a nonprofit organization and everything, and with bylaws and, you know, code of ethics and all that kind of
and
stuff,
membership
and
in the
membership
national,
applications,
with discounts.
exactly, all that stuff. So it's pretty amazing that that you just put the energy out there. And of course we had no idea about you, and you had no idea about us, but together we came together, and now we've got this very amazing, thriving organization that's just growing and developing and getting better all the time. So it's kind of exciting, kind of fun. So yeah, we like it.
Just another of those manifestations, the science of getting rich, working one more way.
Exactly. One more time. Yep.
It is interesting how it all goes together.
It does.
And again, there might be people out there who are thinking, well, if I get everything I want, I got to be taking something from someone else. And it's not the way it works.
It's not.
In fact, this little club is just give, give, give because of the magnitude of the club. Sherwin-Williams gives us this huge discount. So if you're a member of the Missoula Real Estate Investors, you get huge discounts on paint, office supplies, all sorts of wonderful things can happen.
Yeah.
Not only that, the camaraderie with other people doing the same thing you're doing,
Right.
and the sharing of educational materials.
Yeah, it's fun, and we meet the first Tuesday at 7 p.m. at the Montana Club on North Reserve Street, and we have great speakers and great members that get together, and it's a great environment to get energized about real estate investing, and we really believe in the philosophy. It basically stems from the whole idea of the secret and the science of getting rich is the abundance theory, and that there's plenty for everyone, and we really want people that believe in the win-win philosophy for everybody, and if I have to get mine by hurting someone else or taking advantage of someone else, it's not worth it to do it that way. So we try to, have a like-minded group of people that are all on the same page and want to create winning scenarios for everybody, whether it's, a buyer or a seller or a renter or, a tenant or a landlord or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But
even the contractors
exactly,
enjoy us.
Exactly. So I mean, the vendors, everybody. So we really believe in win-win situations for everybody. And it's really a great club, that the Western Montana Real Estate Investors Association, and we have a lot of fun. So definitely, if you're interested, feel free, come on in and join us.
Teresa, you've been to a few of our meetings, so how are those going for you?
Well, I really enjoy the Science of Getting Rich Club and the things that happen there. Of course, the video that we watch with Bob Proctor and stuff, that's very inspiring and motivational and stuff, but I'll tell you the prime thing, the most that I get out of it is the energy from networking with other people that have that same positive attitude, that same zest for life, that same, everybody's kind of on the same page in that, intention matters, and what it is that you expect out of life is out there for you to get, as long as you just decide that that's what you want or whatever. And so what we get out of it when we go is just the energy, and it lasts. I mean, it's great that it's on Mondays because it kind of lasts through the week, and then you go again on Monday and get another shot of it. And it's not all about getting rich financially so much as getting rich in all different aspects of your life, whether it's health or relationships or whatever. It's not all focused on financial results. It's anything that you want in your life, regardless of what it's about. So, I mean, I really like that a lot. We get a lot of boost for our entire week by getting refocused and reconnected, because trying to only think about the positive aspect of things is a difficult thing to do, because we've been trained to look at things from the other side, from what we don't want. Oh, I don't want to be late, or oh, I don't want a headache, like we were talking about before. So we focus a lot more on what we don't want, and so it's good to get that little shot in the arm every Monday and feel like you're starting the week off right and everything. So yeah, we love it. We think it's great.
I bring my husband to those meetings. Well, I actually don't bring him, he brings me.
Yep.
I am proud to say that we've been married for 5 years now, and I use techniques of The Secret. A while back, I met my husband, Chris, in Tampa, Florida. I was on a board meeting, and Chris was one of the speakers. We spent 3 days with him, helping us readjust our thinking. I was going through a divorce at the time, and after the meeting was over with, I went out to the airport, was waiting on my plane to go home. Chris was there, waiting for his plane to go to Salt Lake City. I looked across at him, and I don't know why, I had the thought of, gee, I'm probably never going to remarry at my age, but if I did, that man's got qualities that I admire. I think I would really enjoy being with someone like that. So I thought about that just a while, and then I remembered I was on other boards that he might want to work with. So I asked for his business card, went home with that card in my pocket, thought about him a lot, and thought about all his great qualities. And just didn't think about that anymore, other than, when I see the right guy, I'm going to know, because he'll have the same qualities. Well, as things would work out, I didn't marry someone like him. I married him.
That's great.
So things can happen once you focus on it. And I think it is so wonderful that you've had improvement in your life. I've certainly been affected in my life, and I've made a lot of money using the techniques and the secret. What's so exciting to me is that there's a plan laid out where wealth isn't just an accident anymore. It's a predictable result. Anything you want is a predictable result. So you can plan it out and have it happen. It's simple laws of the universe. If you have questions that you'd like to ask or need further instruction, call us at 676-2332. Or just simply come by to one of the meetings on Monday night. They're at the Quality Inn at the corner of Brooks and Reserve. We start at 7 and we end at 8:30 promptly, not to take up your time. Doesn't mean you can stand around and talk afterwards, but the meeting will end and you're free to leave. We try to start promptly, so it'd be nice if you got there on time. Teresa, it has been so much fun talking to you today, and
Thank you.
I'll see you Monday night.
All right, sounds great. Thanks. Great to see you
Thank
again,
you.
Judy. Thank you.